asking about, I guess, Rastafarianism.
Let's straighten that out first. We deal with Rasta, no isms. See, isms is like friction.
Yeah.
It's like war. Isms, bad vibes. So we deal with Rasta. Rasta to us is a way of life.
Mm-hmm.
In Jamaica, it's our culture.
Mm-hmm.
It's a preaching of returning to Africa, which is our original home. It is bringing together unity, peace, and love amongst all people. Chinese, Japanese, yellow, pink, blue, black, white people. So Rastafari is not only for Jamaicans or Africans. It's a universal thing for everyone. You don't have to wear your hair like this to be a Rasta. You don't have to wear red, green, and gold to be a Rasta. All you have to say is that I have livicated my work to humanity, and you're a Rasta. Rastafari is the original name of Emperor Haile Selassie. When he was growing as a young man, his name was Rastafari. He is a Christian man, and we have decided to follow in his footsteps in the true light of Rastafari. You have Ras McKenna, Ras this, Ras that, but we follow Emperor Haile Selassie, which is Rastafari.
I'd like to hear a little more about this return to Africa. What exactly do you mean by this?
Well, see, we are children of African parents, but we have been scattered throughout the world. Some of us are in Jamaica, in the Bahamas, all over in the Caribbean, in America, in England. And what we are hoping to achieve is to reunite the family. The way, as Willie said in the earlier interview, that when the bomb hit Japan a few years ago, the only reason why Tokyo and all these places are here now is because the family decided to let's build back our nation. So it's the same thing Rastafari is doing, building a new nation.
How are you going about this?
Through our music, through our way of living, through our preaching, through our eating, through our meditation, and every way possible that involves life.
Through love.
Mainly through love.
What about this upcoming tour to Africa? I suppose that means a lot to you then.
Yes, it's much more than a tour. It's as Willie said, it's going home. And we have no great expectations of what home is. If we have to go home and sleep in a mud hut or we be in a big castle, makes no difference to us. We are not going there to make a big lump sum of money to take back out in the West. We are going home to service our people with the truth.
So you consider the whole continent of Africa as your home then?
It is, because it's one. It's one people. It has only been divided through politics and religion. And as I said before, what we're hoping to do is to reunite all that together.
What about the political situation in Africa now? Do you have any?
What about the political situation anywhere, man? Politics stands for the same thing anywhere. To divide and rule and to conquer. That's what politicians do. Politicians, I've never seen a politician who mean anyone any good. You know, they might do it before they get elected in office, but once they get into office, it's the normal role of politicians. You know, freeze here, rise here, I take care of my cousin and I don't, you know, that's it. So we're not of politics. We have nothing to do with politics.
So,
as the song says, roots, 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 the song that Cat wrote, we are non-political.
So you use your music to, you say to unite your people, as it were. In Japan here, they've sort of altered, I think, the goal. In other words, they've kind of been pushing it as sort of a tropical sound. In other words, they make it look like this is the thing to listen to during summertime, you know. This is very casual music here, folks. this
What
kind
it
of
is,
thing.
it's just that music is what you, it's an opinion. If you look on a box, everyone will look on the box and it'll be different because people have different minds. Now, maybe at this time, for Japanese to understand our whole thing, they have to stand it on a certain level. You would not go and take a penicillin. If I was going to give you a penicillin injection, I wouldn't give you 200 whatever cycles. Give you little stages. They understand the concept of a love island because Jamaica is a beautiful island. It is one of the most beautiful islands in the world, along with Africa. So the kids understand love. The most important thing that we're preaching is love. It don't matter call it what it thing. We talk about Jah. Jah is the same God that they might, Japanese might, Buddha, whatever they call it for their gods. It's the same one God because there's only one God. So there's, in other words, we're dealing with love. Love is the most important thing. Whatever you call it, it don't matter as long as the message come over.
Yeah,
we are not a revolutionary. Let's get this straight.
Yeah.
We are not. We stand for peace. At all it means, peace and love to join people, all nations. The Japanese has stayed as one people, and we respect that because they stick on a family and they build with all the hassles. There are people to be, not to be tallied with. They're to be looked upon and followed. If more people in America, around the world, would work together like Japanese people, we would be far off better today than how we are. So what we're doing is bringing back our people together.
If you have a product, like take for instance Sony have a product that they want to sell. They have to find ways and means by which to market the product, so they can get the product to sell. We have a product of love and unity that we want to sell. But you cannot go out in the street and say, here is a big bag of love, take it. Because the world now has no faith in love anymore. Because when they see all these nuclear devices and wars and rumors of wars, they say, how can love be the dominant thing when that is happening? So we have to find ways by which to get our message across, because the most important thing is the message. After you take that record home and you play it and you listen to the words, the Love Island thing and the design and the faces on the album cover and the sleeve don't mean anything anymore. It's what's on the wax, so the sunny tropical vibe is just designed by the company to get the product sold. But the message is the important thing.
So you want people mainly to get this idea of love from your music then? That's
Of course, what else is, we have nothing else to sell but love. I mean, we have nothing else to give but love.
What about your country? I take it you're all from Jamaica.
We all are from Jamaica. Jamaica is, yes, go on.
And, well, people who follow the same religion as you are only but a small percentage of the Jamaican people, I take it.
That follow the same religion?
Yeah.
What is religion?
Okay.
Good question, Brad.
Okay, maybe it's a bad...
The way of life.
Yeah.
We're not. It's a way of life. There's 3 million people that lives in Jamaica. 2.5 million.
2.5 million.
And out of that 2.5 million, I'd say about 500,000 or 250,000 is Rastafari. But that's not the important thing. The important thing is everywhere you go in Jamaica, you see Rastafari. You see it everywhere because they cannot escape that. The Japanese in Japan cannot escape the fact that they're Japanese.
Yeah.
In Jamaica, everyone in Jamaica is Rastafari, but some people might run away from it and don't want to deal with it on that level.
Are there ill feelings against the Rastafari?
Yes, everywhere. If some people feel that Rastaman is a dirty man, some people feel that the Bongo man is a murderer, a thief, and he's no good. There's not anything good has ever been
There's
said.
ill feeling against everything.
Yeah, there's ill feelings
Some people
against.
think Reagan is good, some think he's bad. You know what I mean? You have school different thoughts.
Yes, but it's what you doing.
It's what you think is the only thing you can hold on to, really. Because if, say, for instance, you think that, say, Brezhnev is a good man, and I don't think so. You still think that he's good, and I think that he's bad.
You can't change that.
You can't change that. But what the question you asked earlier, I think the amount of people who are, how I would put it is that you have maybe 100,000 actual Rastas in Jamaica, but you have at least another 200,000 who are sympathizers, right? Who don't really have anything against Rasta, who maybe have a Rasta in the family, who maybe have some kind of relation to Rasta that makes them what you'd call sympathizers. They don't fight it down. They're pro Rasta, you know. So it's funny, but the world is set in a way that everyone thinks they're different, you know. And this new age of intellect and education is making people get very sort of
Schismatic.
secular, you know, in their thinking. Everybody thinks, well, I think this, and don't care what you think, I still think that, and you know, it is decaying the fiber of harmony, you know, really, when you check it, because people no longer have anything to be unified about, you know, they just don't, everybody's mind is gone off, and so really and truly, unity of thought is what the Rasta really has going for him right now. Unity of thought.
Do you see any more unity in the future of Jamaica, or are things going to split up more?
Jamaica is a funny example of the country because we are very proud people of Jamaica. You know, the thing about the Jamaican is that if he's even in Japan, he's still a Jamaican, and he still carries that Jamaican heart. And seeing that the island is only, as I was saying earlier, it's only 4,000 square miles large, right? And we have had so much history of success. You know, we've had Donald Quarry, one of the greatest Olympic sprinters. I mean, he's won two gold medals in 2 different Olympics. You know, we've had Bob Marley, you know, the greatest reggae superstar, one of the biggest superstars of all time. We've had, I mean, several hundreds of people who have come from that small little island, who have really stamped their name on the world. So you find that Jamaicans have that pride, you know, they keep that sort of pride going. So even though there's certain amount of disunity in certain sections, as we were talking earlier, and different mental thoughts, Jamaican people generally whole have a sense of pride and a sense of oneness. So I think that I don't see it getting more
Diversified.
I don't see it getting more diversified. I see it more coming to a more harmonious thing, especially between Jamaica and other Caribbean countries. You know, countries close to us.
I mean, here in Japan is even a perfect example of what Kat just said. Who would think that Jamaican music would be in the discos, radio station, the stores of this country? I mean, if you told me that 15 years ago, I'd say you're crazy. I mean, people in Jamaica cannot believe that reggae music has traveled so far, you know? So that is just reflect how Jamaicans and us folks are. It's growing, it's not dying.
What about reggae music in Jamaica? How does it stand there in terms of popular art?
It's the number one music.
It's number one music.
Number one music. I mean, people who go to disco and they'll dance all type of different music. Because in Jamaica, people listen to a lot of music. But when reggae music play, the feeling that you get in your heart, you know, like tears actually coming to your eyes from the joy, the feeling that it gives you. It's Jamaican music, number one. Yellow Man.
The only sad thing about Jamaica and the reggae culture is that Jamaican artists have to really work abroad to keep their whole trip together, because you know how it is in this world today. To release records, you have to have money for studio, you have to have a record company, da 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 da. So Jamaican artists spend a lot of time away from home, you know, and it grieves people because people come to Jamaica and they can't see any good reggae acts. The only time they can go to Jamaica and be assured of seeing good reggae is at Sunsplash.
What is that, Sunsplash?
Reggae Sunsplash. It's a festival they have every year of reggae artists, you know, and it attracts a lot of attention from all over the world, even from Japan. I hear that there are about 40 people from Japan going this year, or 50 people going this year.
Right?
Yeah, so I've heard journalists and just people in general. I even met a Japanese journalist in Jamaica before I left to come here, who is there to cover the festival.
Is that right?
Yeah.
And that's just like an annual thing. There's no constant outlet like.
No, there's no constant outlet. It's not like America where you can fly into LA and you can sit down or ask
Anytime.
somebody's in
Jackson's
town, you know.
Yeah, night and
It's
day.
not like that, but every year this Sunsplash now is beginning to get like a carnival. I don't know if you've heard of the Trinidad Carnival,
No, I've never.
but it's a very, very big carnival they have every year there. And it attracts a lot of people from all over the world.
Hmm.
And every year at this certain time, you can go to Trinidad and hear the best of Calypso, you know, and see the culture at its best. And this is what we're trying to do with Reggae Sunsplash. We're trying to build it up into something so that every year people can come and know, well, in August, Jamaica is the scene, because that's where all the good music is happening.
What about the people performing reggae in only Jamaica? Can they actually make a living doing this, or is the market limited to countries outside of?
They find it very hard, you know. They do.
But they do make a
And the thing about it is that from they get successful in Jamaica, the next step is America and Europe. Because the Jamaican community in America and in Europe is definitely going to want to hear them. So, from they make one hit in Jamaica, that's like a stepping stone to the rest of the world.
Yeah, man, the musicians in Jamaica make a living, man. They make, because records, I mean, when you go to those studios, you can't get it. There's about, 12 to 14 studios in Jamaica, and they're constantly booked.
Is that right?
And it's not with foreign musicians, it's Jamaican musicians. Every week you have 40, 50 new records coming
In
out.
fact, in the world analysis where they took how much records, we are the third biggest releases of records.
Is that right?
Per week.
Yes, per week.
Third. That's Small Island. In releases, we release more records. I think America was first, and there's another country, but we are the third biggest.
Is that right?
Yeah.
And that the majority of that is reggae.
Yes.
Reggae, most, I mean,
No,
95%.
95%.
95 to 98.
Is that right? Well, what's the other 2%?
Might be a slow ballad, little you might have a classical here and there, and maybe
Gospel.
a few gospel.
Yeah.
Gospel. I'd say 5% is gospel.
Gospel.
I'd say 10% is that's gospel to be exact.
Yes.
Gospel is a big thing.
Yes.
10 to
Jamaican
50%
religious
is
music
gospel.
is
Very
big
religious.
business.
Yeah,
15,
Jamaican religious
15,
music is
yeah.
big business.
We forgot about that. I would put, to be honest, I'd put 25%
20%.
gospel to be safe.
Seriously.
5% little funk, disco, ballad, mostly ballad then would be, and then the other say
It's reggae.
the other 70% is pure reggae.
What sort of people are listening to gospel then?
Religious
All people,
people.
you see, because of the base where we came from, Africa, we've been pushed religion on us. So the people has that within their system. It's a thing that you live with every day. So everybody has grown up with some kind of religious background, whether it's Roman Catholic, Jehovah's Witness, Methodist, whatever you call it. Everyone has grown up with that type of religion. So gospel music does sell in its own way, you know. Everyone and you know, everyone loves that. Even Pat Boone and those sell down there. I mean,
Oh my
surprised,
God.
you know, all those old timers.
Is that right?
Yeah, man, are you kidding?
Pat Boone.
That's a big boy there, man.
Love him all.
Love him, man. People. Well, you see, with Jamaica, Jamaicans listen to all sorts of music. We're not limited. We don't say only one music. When you come to Jamaica, you hear all music: African, Latin, Brazilian, classical, everything. So we've been grew up from kids with all this different music. This is why Third World on a whole, we play diversified music. We don't play one because it's a thing that become natural to us. We listen and we play different things, but it's nothing like people think that we're selling out. It's that we just play this natural. It's like second nature. As if you're driving a car, you don't think about it after a year.
We
You know?
retain the essence of Jamaica in our sound at all times.
And
But
express.
we experiment with other forms of rhythms and different styles.
Like we come here now, we're nice to listen to Japanese music. And then the next album, who knows? We might put just even a little string, cling, 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 you know, change of the atmosphere. But that is what we see musicians, if they're true, when you travel into different countries, you pick the vibe because you're open, you pick up the vibe of the country. So don't be surprised, Japan, the next time we come here, few Japanese word is in the next album, you
I was
know?
thinking of
Because
that
we really love the people and we're influenced by different things. And a musician go, what can you talk about, man? After you do one album, you do of yourself, you have to talk about people. You have to talk about your experience of where you go. That's why we travel, to embrace all natures and harmony so we can give them back music, so them to appreciate. So that's what life is about, man.
Oh, kill you,
I don't want to. This may seem a little bit off the wall, but what do you think of all the albums like Sly and Robbie are appearing on these days? Have you heard much of those? That's
Joe Cocker and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, Joe Cocker,
Grace Jones. That's fabulous,
Injury.
man. That's fabulous. That's really great.
But it's positive. I think musicians
it's
have to come
important.
together all over. I'd like to come Japanese musicians to come to Jamaica and record. We integrate and play.
See, we don't want to take the music one side and keep it like this is our music, you know. This is so unique. We want to keep it by ourselves. It's not like that. It's the people's music. So musicians have to move around with other musicians the same way we co-write and Stevie Wonder co-write with us and co-produce. You know, and we're hoping to get other people and mingle. That's the same thing. Musicians have to mingle. You know, so you get the total strength, power.
So it tingles.
Yeah, tingles.
Yes.
When you mingles, it tingles.
Have you actually worked with Sly and Robbie before? There's
No,
quite a bit
not
of
on
it.
sessions. But
Not on
Yeah,
sessions.
man. I've worked
Good
with them on many sessions.
Is that right?
Yeah.
What's it like?
It's great. They are very quick. They're musically very quick, and that's what I like. I don't like to get in the studio and mess around for 4 hours. You know what I mean? So you find that when you work with Sly and Rob, everything happens quickly. You know, and if you're quick, if you're slow, you're not going to be able to work with them. Because they'll do 5 tracks by the time you just start to understand one. That's how they are.
Yeah, man.
Sly and Rob will go in the studio and lay 30 tracks
In
one
one
time.
night.
In one night.
Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. And practically 15 to 20 of them are excellent. You know? So it's really nice to work with them. It's a joy to work with them because they're very creative and they don't hold back any. They're just very creative, you know. Things just happen like that with them, really.
What were you doing before you debuted as a group?
Well, before this, we were in a group. Well, from kids, we all basically lived on the same corner. We all were friends from kids.
Yeah.
And we grew up with that in mind. Each one of us had different bands at one stage. We joined together in a group called In a Circle, played there. Third World came, and went back in. So you can say all our life will be actually Third World will be next year. Will be representing its 10th anniversary. So it's going to be an important
Hope you're at the
album.
party, bro.
Yeah, I hope you be at the party wherever
Have
it
a
is.
hell of a session.
Yeah, we're inviting
Serious.
everybody, all nations of the world.
Bring your weed, you know, champagne.
So like you've been together as a group for 10 years, but even before that you were sort of like
Yeah, we were
jamming
together. We were in another group for about 7 years, in a circle, 6-7 years together. So 17 years, 20 years we've actually played with each other musically.
But of course, the current members now were in different bands though before.
Yeah, first was In a Circle. We had our own bands, then we formed In a Circle. Ibu, Cat, and Bunny, and myself, and Carrot were in A Circle, which he was only a different member. Then Cat and Ibu formed Third World, and then we all came back in. Within a year and a half, everybody joined back together. So the side went.
I see. What about the name Third World? How did you arrive at that?
Well, Third World was very topical at the time that we formed the group. Because we formed the group in 1972, going into 73. And Third World was very topical at that time. You know, everybody was talking about the Third World, the poor countries, the developing countries, what was going to happen with them, what was the situation in them, what they had to offer the rest of the world. So we took on the name roughly, you know, because of that whole, I don't know, after Michael Manley won the election in Jamaica in 1972.
Who's that?
Michael Manley.
Michael Manley.
Right. After he won the election in 1972, all the thoughts of Jamaican was geared towards third world thinking, you know? And through that whole sort of concept and that whole thing, that's how we really got the name Third World. It was suggested to us. And it was a very topical and very sensible name for the band to have at the time. So we just took it on, and we've always stuck with it because we believe that third world people need a spokesman. They need a voice by which to tell the rest of the world that, hey, we're here and we're still here, you know.
Yeah.
So that's our self-made um, concept, our own self. We think that we see ourselves as one of the voices of the third world for all people.
You're selling a lot of records now and gaining a lot of popularity, though. Isn't there any, say, anxiety over losing the third world status? Because I mean, you're
No,
becoming.
you can't lose the third world status because if you are, you are. You just can't. How can you lose American status?
Well, you can move. You can move to the third world.
Yeah, but you can't. You can never lose your American status by moving to the third world. You'll always be considered an American living in the third world. See, if I come to Japan, I'll never be considered a Japanese person. I'll always be considered a Jamaican living in Japan. So you can't lose your status. Lots of journalists and stuff. They always say, well, you know, third world has gone away from their roots and we have left this and we're playing this kind of music now and thing. But it's just lack of intelligence and intellect on their part. Because if they really were to think about it, they would realize that there's no way we could ever leave that. You see, the black experience in this world, the black experience, by that I mean not only black skinned people, but light shade people like myself, Willie, you know? You find that we're all part of the third world experience, and there are many rhythms and many cultures in that, you see? And if we express any of those cultures, we're not really forgetting our roots. We're actually making our roots even firmer. So for us to go and do a song with Stevie Wonder, to me I think that's a great step in the direction of establishing our roots, our real roots. You know, because all of us came on the same slave ship over, you know, and those of us who didn't come over on the ship, some got involved with white mothers and black fathers and white mothers, and you see, so we're all in one big melting pot known as the third world, you know, and there's no way we can really leave our roots. We can't, because we are roots.
Do you see Black Americans as part of this third world thing?
Definitely.
That's a question. I think that's a question.
Although Black America themselves might not see it, but they are. Black America is blinded right now by American cosmopolitan ideology, you know. The Buick Riviera, the Cadillac, you know, the nice penthouse apartment, video, TV, da 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 da. You know, that's all very well and good, but if you can retain the thought that you're black and that you're African and live amongst that, then it's cool. But if you live amongst there hoping that one day the American is going to consider you a real American, that's being ridiculous, because he's not. I mean, I don't want to be harsh or anything to America, but I feel that a lot of the reason why black people have got some kind of go in America is because they've always been the ones to fight the wars for America, and they've always been the ones to build American buildings, and to clean American homes, and to drive American taxes, you see. So that is why they begin to get any form of status in America. Now what you find in America is that you have other people now who are coming in now, who are having the same problem, but they're very early, like the Haitians, a certain amount of Cubans, you know, and these people who are what they call immigrants, right? And I really don't think there's anything wrong with them going to America, because America is really a promising, it's a flourishing place in terms of economics and that kind of thing. So I don't find anything wrong with them going there. It's when you forget who you are once you get there, that to me is where the problem really lies. Because Cuban Americans or Puerto Ricans or whatever, you know, as long as they retain their culture and stuff, then they're still Puerto Ricans, and they haven't been watered down or washed down, you know. Because a real American is an American, you know. There's nothing you can really. He's just an American. The way an American talks, the way he goes on, everything. He's just American, you know. And that's where it's at. That's where it's at for me. Just in the natural sense, you know. If you're Chinese, you're Chinese. If you're Jamaican, you're Jamaican. If you're Japanese, you're Japanese. If you're American, you're American, you know.
What about the music of Black Americans?
Fantastic.
It's great.
Did you listen to it a lot when you were growing up? And
Well, we do, because we get a lot of it in Jamaica. You know, we're almost brought up on a diet of that. Because, I mean, even my little son right now, growing up, right? I mean, he gets to listen to Denise Williams, Earth, Wind and Fire, Bob Marley and the Wailers, Third World. I mean, he gets such a wide scope of music to listen to, you know. And they relate from very early to all kinds of music, you know. So I don't know. I figure that it's all under the same heading. You know, music is really love. You know, expressed in a form, in a universal language, and that's just where it's at. You know, too much categorization and all kind of different things.
Well, speaking of black music here, you worked with Stevie Wonder on the last record there. He's somewhat of a perfectionist, apparently. How did the recording go? Was it a lot different from recording thus far?
From recording what?
From recording thus far? I mean, compared to previous
Oh,
recordings?
no, it was a good experience. Recording with him came together naturally. There was no planning. It was a thing that we played. Every 6 years we meet. Years ago we went back with Stevie where we played in Carib Theatre, which was a Jamaican theatre. He came and we were in a circle then. And he came, our manager who used to manage us, who owned the band, hired him to come down for 9 shows. He played the 9 shows, and we were there. We had a good time with him, and we played with him on a bill. 6 years later, there was a big show in Jamaica with Bob Marley, Stevie Wonder, Third World. We played that. That was a great show.
That was one of the first big breaks
Yes.
Third World really got.
Is that right?
Yeah.
And then Sunsplash happened in last year. We played with him and we directed it. And then after that, he says we went up 2 weeks later and did the BMA in LA. It was fantastic. And he said, look man, I have 2 songs. And we just went in, and working for him is one of like working with a brother. It's like a teacher, a master. You look on as karate, you look on Bruce Lee as a man who, when you go to his school, you come out, wow, we're going to Steve is like going to a master. He and Quincy Jones and quite a few others are masters in the music field. So we're going as if we learn, and yet he did not rape us of total and saying, boy, hey, this is it, do it this way. He's so humble in his own self that he listened and he worked with us. So it was a brother harmony relationship.
In fact, even though it's like you said earlier that he's a perfectionist, I found in recording with him that sometimes I think that we as Third World would try to be more perfection than how he really.
Yeah.
Although he had a way of getting it out perfect, you know,
yeah.
but keeping it very natural.
Keeping it natural.
He had a vibe about him that the minute he walked in the studio and got on the piano stool,
It was magic.
everybody in the band just got super serious, you know.
It was magic. He was.
But we're still relaxed, so it was great.
Was he very demanding? He wasn't very demanding though, so in the studio.
No man. It was just you see, God put that together, so there can be no question. When you feel a vibe of music, you don't think. The man play the piano, it puts you automatically like your instrument start playing for yourself. He has such an aura that when he start moving his head, you know exactly what beat you're on. So there's no question of if it's not like I can understand if you're doing a complicated piece of Schubert. Then man, you have to be reading like that. A man can lick you over the head with something. Hit the spot because we're not used to it. But it's a natural African thing. And then spirits took over. It wasn't Stevie then and Stephen such as it was spirits taking over. And it was a feeling of that you just know where to put the beat. And it came that way, and it was just a natural thing. So there was no demanding, no debating like a business. You don't go on like that. It was just a very spiritual happening that was enjoyable.
So can we expect any more joint?
I would not say yes or no, but a lot of things with the plan. If it's God wish that we do another record, it's going to happen. We are willing.
We would like to do another record with Steve, but I'd like this to be known, even in Japan, to that we don't want anyone to feel that we would ever use someone so dear to us, you know, for any personal commercial gain. That's not where it's at, really. So that is why we feel that if it is to be and the Father wants it to be, then it will be.
Are there any other people you wish to work with at this
But
time?
we would like to do something with Quincy Jones, because he has expressed a feeling from being on the Rose Bowl show with him. When he was on stage, he asked the crowd if they liked Third World and if they could dig where we're coming from. So from that, I personally sort of took on the feeling that, you know, he would like to express himself in a vein of a different style, you know.
Yeah, but he has said so. He has actually said to Buddy.
Really?
Yeah, he has said that he's interested if you get some time maybe to do something. Nothing's definite. But not only that, I would like to also do some expression with some Japanese people too. I would love that. I'd love to do with our African brothers and sisters too. Expression of playing, it don't mean that you're going to get that commercial gain. It means that people are coming together. Paul McCartney, Stevie Wonder, the tune that they wrote, Ebony and Ivory.
You know, I did a song with a Japanese group once.
Who? You?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I recorded the Japanese group. They're called Japan. Have you ever heard of them?
Jahpan.
P-A-N. Have you ever heard of them?
I remember that one.
They recorded at Bob Marley's studio, Tough Ground. Yeah.
Is that right?
That's right, yeah.
Situation.
And they were good too. They were quite good too, really.
Right.
Yeah, they were quite good.
Don't fall out the window, please.
What they do? Were they doing reggae there?
Yeah, they were doing reggae. They did it well too. I was really surprised.
How about a group like Steel Pulse, who are
They're
apparently
fantastic band.
You
You
played
like
with
them?
Yeah, they're great.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just played one of their records the other day on the radio here. They're second generation Jamaicans, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
British born.
British
raised.
born Jamaicans, yeah.
Yeah. Do you feel anything different from their music?
No, I don't.
It's just.
In fact, I've heard people in Los Angeles saying, well, you know, they're not Jamaican. They come from England, you know. They're not the real thing. But it's a load of crap. They're as real as anybody else. You know?
Right.
That's right. They're as real as Bob Marley and the Wailers or any other band
Well,
from Jamaica.
do you make a distinction then between real reggae music and phony reggae music?
No, man. How can there be phony reggae music? How can there be phony music? It can't be. That is something for... I don't know why these guys who say they're journalists take on this kind of attitude. I just can't figure it out, because if they stop and think for a minute, they'll realize that they're just talking foolishness, really.
Well, you know, it's the stuff you like is real, and the stuff you don't like is phony. That's usually what it boils down to.
All right, yeah, well, it's a personal thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
I can see that.
I would put the phone. I'd say the level of commitment one does. If you're playing, music is the truth. I would say there is phony music, because if you playing for commercial gains, you cannot fool the people. You cannot fool them. If you went in the studio directly to earn money, then it's going to come out that way there. If you go in to play music from the heart, which reggae music is so much from the heart, then that's why I think Kat said there's no phony music. Because in reggae, every musician going in with the true feeling to complete a tune for how he really feel. Well, however he expresses it, he's expressing from the heart. And from you do that, and you are true to the creator, then you can only play that music, and it must be honest. What has happened now is that the digital has taken over, and the flat machines, which was number one in America, and that now is what I call phony music.
Right.
Because that music now is, there's no variation, there's no skipping the beat, because a man walk down the street, he's not going to walk dead straight on time anyway. There's something going to make him shift, which is a human element.
Right.
The machine just goes meticulous.
Right.
And after a while, people can't deal with meticulous.
Right.
You know what I mean? It gets to you. You know, that is phony music.
Well, a lot of people tend to feel these days that, like, you know, they use the what is it, the Lin drum
The Lin
machine. They seem to, well, you can set that, you know.
Yeah.
They say they can express themselves by setting the dials and.
Yeah, you can, but you use that for you.
But what's
everybody
great
can
about the
use
Lin drum machine is that, so say for instance I'm here and I want to create. A lot of the problems with creation, I find in Jamaica, is I'm sitting with my bass guitar and these great things are coming to me, right? And I don't have any musicians around me to help me build it, right? And I don't have a proper tape system to put it down. So I've got to go into the studio with this memory, you know? And sometimes it doesn't come back perfectly, because you're thinking on all kind of things, you know? You're thinking how you're going to get the weed to smoke, how you're going to look after your family, you're thinking how you're going to put gas in the car in time to make it tomorrow morning, you know? So all these things keep coming into your head. Now, where the Lin drum machine is really great is that if you have a Lin drum machine and a nice tape and a piano, you know, you can put any idea down to a very, what you call it, to a level of, right,
They are
because
putting their
the
trust in
drummer,
drum machines.
the drummer will always be better than the drum machine, always.
Even with the odd time and different, it's important. But then you can use it. Use. That's why there's nothing wrong with technology in the world, but it must not be used to replace people's natural thoughts or to try to make them stop thinking of their natural or being the natural. It should not. It should be used for their advantage.
Because you see, even the Lynn drum machine, they went for the best drummer possible they could find
to put
make the
in
sounds.
to make the sounds in there.
And up to now, I mean, honestly speaking, the Lynn drum machine is like having Jeff Baccaro in your living room all day long, you know? And you just punch him in and say, okay, Jeff, play this. Because he's the one who really made the sounds on the track, you know? But you can never get back Jeff unless you go for Toto. If Toto isn't there playing, you can't get Jeff. So, you know? But it's a tool to help a musician. And I think that all these tools and stuff are really inspired by the father, you know? That's why I think Japanese, the whole industry thing of Japan is a very inspired thing. It's a very, very inspired thing because one time long ago people used to laugh when you have something made in Japan. People used to laugh like it was a joke. Nowadays everything is made in Japan. You know, it's inspiration. You must be inspired to think of something. You know, you can't just sit down and say, well, okay, today I'll make an airplane, and you just make an airplane. You know, it has to be an inspiration for you to do that. So we, as brothers out there, we give thanks for everything that the Father has allowed to be made, you know, and we utilize it to the good, for the good of people.
Betterment of humanity.
Really.
Humanity. This may seem like kind of a funny question. It's just handed to me here. Bob Marley, when he was still alive, was considered, of course, the main reggae act in the world. And now it's perhaps third world. Do you feel any pressure from this?
Well, we don't really see that because how we feel about it is that Bob Marley was considered the main reggae act because he was the first one who really got to step on that plateau. And the great thing about it was that he's a great minstrel. We never speak of him and say he was. We always say he is. And he's a great minstrel, and he got a very good break in life, right? And he was the right man to get it because he utilized it to the fullness. Other artists, I mean, really and truly, Bob Marley is not the first man from Jamaica to be a hit in music. There have been many other artists who have had hit records and who have been very big, but they didn't have the concept of Bob, and they didn't have the mental stability he had, right, to make things happen for him in a positive way. So you find that he is the primary reggae act in the world today. We third world, we don't see ourselves as that. We see ourselves as messengers of love. And we see all other reggae bands, you know, as having a work to perform as well.
The work, sorry, not cutting you.
No, you're not cutting me.
I see this as Bob. Bob came to move the big boulders. Others will come to smooth the road. Another will come to put the barber green. And the other one will come to drive. Only job God can know who will that be. But each one have their job.
Yeah. I mean, we third world, we consider our job in life musically, you know, as a work that the Father has given us to do. You know, it's a very serious thing. Because there's a time when we're out there in the world and we're very fed up because we can't get any food to eat. You know, we can't speak German. You know what I mean? And we're walking around just kind of looking weird. But we realize that the Father has given us all a talent and all a certain inspiration to do our work. And this is what gives us the strength to really continue. You know, so.
I mean, this year it was easy for us to give up this year.
Yeah, we've been working very hard this year.
Very hard this year. I mean, we have been practically.
And it seems like the band has gotten even stronger, you know. And I've seen whereby hard work has made many groups get into problems, you know. Because you find that other people, like people in groups, they have other lives beside the group, you know. A lot of great groups in America have been mashed up because of that. One guy decides that, boy, he wants to be a family man and stay with his wife and kids and not go on the road. And it causes problems, you know. But as a group, I think that we really have a very tight family, you know, of people. All our wives and everyone, they're very sympathetic and understanding towards our whole career and what we have to do. And we're very lucky, you know, we're very lucky. That's
So-
why we'll be forever